Welcome to the Myers Report. Today we're out at Big Ass Fans, and we're here with owner and founder Kerry Smith and one of the Big Ass scholars, Dylan Sarkeesian. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So I saw Kerry Smith on TV a few weeks ago with Bill Bryant, and you were talking about the scholarship program that you have. I believe it's called the Big Ass Scholars.
Yes.
And I was very intrigued by that program. It's something that I've been trying to get going in our community for the last 5 or 6 years. And to see you on TV talking about and articulating exactly what I'd envision companies like you doing was just phenomenal to me. And so I immediately reached out to you to see if we could have a conversation about what you're doing and what motivated you to do that. And that's led to our conversation here today.
I had worked prior to starting school, college, and I had to work to make money. And during college, I worked to pay the tuition and the room and board. When you do that sort of thing, I think that it becomes obvious to you that it's a very difficult thing to do. I mean, I pulled together various grants and awards and scholarships and that sort of thing, but it's a constant struggle, and it's constantly on your mind. And so it seemed to me that that it was only right, or it only made sense, looking at from an individual's perspective, that that we should try to make it easier for people in the same situation. But here at Big Ass Fans, we have the opportunity. There's more that we do. We do an awful lot, and people think about manufacturing. They think about fans. They don't understand precisely the way we do business. We spend an awful lot of time and effort on R&D, on research, and some of it, we even split the R&D in two pieces. And there's the R&D, which is an awful lot of testing of products, testing of ideas that we have. But prior to that, there is the work that goes into just coming up with ideas for products, and I think that's very interesting, and that's where we typically put where we're planning to put our scholars. Currently, we put a lot of our interns in these programs because it's just a very interesting place to be, and I think it shows kids that there's a lot more to manufacturing. There's a lot more to what we do that makes it very interesting. That
Sure.
Life is not as simple and as well defined as it is in school, and there's an awful lot of opportunities, and that's what we're trying to make available to people like Dylan.
Okay, so you kind of married a internship and a scholarship together. So can you talk a little bit about the dollar amount for the scholarship, and then what the relationship between just the scholarship dollars are, excuse me, and the opportunity that the scholar receives inside of Big Ass Fans?
It's a $5,000 a year scholarship that goes towards tuition and room and board and that sort of thing. And then there's $5,000 a year at minimum, actually, that is paid as an internship.
Okay.
It's a different approach. It's not academia, and I think that a lot of times that people like Dylan look at the future and think academia, and there's nothing wrong with academia, but that's a very, very narrow profession in a lot of respects. So we think it's very interesting what we're doing.
So it sounds like if I'm a scholar recipient and I'm at Big Ass Fans in this program, that I can look forward to, we talk all the time about hands-on experience and those kinds of things. But really, because you guys go that step further and treat your scholars as peers, it's almost as if they've been hired by the company and they're expected to do some of the very same things that your employees do.
Oh, for sure. I mean, when we interview people for example. I mean, we're looking at SAT scores to a certain degree. We're looking at ACT scores. We're looking at letters of recommendation. We look at them, but then I throw them away. No, I don't throw them away, not every time. But what we're interested in with our scholars is the same thing that I'm interested in when I talk to somebody that's going to be a coworker here.
Sure.
And so what we're really interested in is people that can take the initiative, people that are bright, people that have a sense of humor, people that are curious. And I think curiosity is incredibly important and underrated in this type of situation. So it's a little bit more than your standard scholarship sort of interview. They have to, at some point, they have to interface with me, and that can be a trying experience. But not with Dylan, it wasn't. I mean, we were fine. We got along great.
That's awesome. So, Dylan, talk a little bit about yourself and what led you to Big Ass Fans and to get involved in this scholarship opportunity.
I was lucky enough to be born and raised in Lexington, and I stayed in Lexington for 18 years. I went through public school system, and then I graduated from Henry Clay High School recently. I was in the magnet program, the Liberal Arts Academy.
Okay.
And senior year, I was looking for something to do, ideally not bagging groceries. I think I remember telling Kerry.
Yes, that's the first thing you told me.
And that really is the prospect, mostly for people graduating high school. You can't really do a lot of anything mentally stimulating when you don't have a college degree. So I was looking around, and I had heard from a few people who go to college in town that Big Ass Fans is a really interesting place to work for. And I didn't know much about Big Ass Fans, but I did know that they had this cool mural on a wall downtown with a big donkey looking backwards at me, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And my juvenile need for cuss words and business names was really attracting me, so I decided to come to an open house, and it was definitely a little bit intimidating at first because I was surrounded by college students and a bunch of people representing every different department, and I didn't really know what to do except just start talking to people. So I started talking, and one of the people I started talking to was Kerry, it turns out. And from then on, I went to a couple interviews, and I started working here over the summer. And thanks to the scholarship, I'll be coming back and working next summer.
Okay. So Dylan, can you talk a little bit about what you do here in the internship part of the program?
I work in a department that researches and develops new technologies. And
Okay.
I think at one point it was referred to as badonkadonk. I'm not completely
Team
sure.
Badonkadonk.
Team
What's so
Badonkadonk.
difficult about remembering that? I mean, you remember your name, but you don't remember Team Badonkadonk. I don't understand.
So logical. I don't know why. Regardless of what you call it, though, it's dependably not dependable what I can guess I'm going to do at work the next day. It's very different and always something interesting and new. Over the course of the summer, I did everything from research to product development, and then I participated in experiments and helped operate those, and then I even went on business travel, as Kerry mentioned. So it was definitely, it's hard to even summarize it, but I guess the best way to say it is that I get paid to learn and use that knowledge to help the company.
Well, you know what I think, one of the things that you did that was very interesting was involve the fans in Rwanda.
That was very
Controlling
interesting
the
to me.
fans in
Yeah.
Rwanda. So you might talk a little bit about that, because I thought that was fascinating.
I did too.
When I came in, one of the first things I was introduced to was the fact that Big Ass Fans had donated several ISIS fans to Rwanda, a Butaro hospital in Rwanda that was created by a nonprofit in order to help tuberculosis patients there. So something about tuberculosis is that it's transmitted through the air. So Big Ass Fans got involved in making a system to ventilate the air and purify it using ultraviolet light. And so we gave the fans in order to circulate the air and keep it well purified throughout the day. So what I did was I helped design a system to operate the fans autonomously,
Okay.
so that people who were going through the building didn't have the opportunity to change the speed or anything, because it needs to be at a specific setting in order to work. So that definitely shocked me to learn that Big Ass Fans was operating in something so completely exotic.
Sure.
It was very interesting.
That was very interesting for me to hear as well, because one of the things that most intrigued me about that is that the fan has to work at a certain speed to circulate the air to make sure it's purified, but it can't circulate too fast that would cause a breeze and make the patient want to turn the fan off. And so I just thought about the technology and the ingenuity that has to go behind, making all that work is just fascinating to me.
Well, that's where Dylan came in.
And see, that's what I like about this program is this isn't your typical internship where you're filing papers and you're doing that kind of stuff. You're out there doing real world work that you're standing along colleagues and coworkers that are actually on staff and doing this work. If you were back at school and you're at Stanford, right? And you're talking to a group of your peers and they're saying, what'd you do last summer? And everybody's talking about, well, I did an internship here and I did one there and I'm in DC and I'm doing different things. And you say, hey, I did an internship at Big Ass Fans. And somebody says to you, what? An internship at a fan company? What's that about? What would your response be?
I told them I got paid to learn, and I enjoyed what I did, and I was part of a team that did important research. So it definitely is different than what people imagine as a manufacturer of fans, because they don't know that goes on, but that has to go on, especially if you want to be cutting edge.
Sure. So when you look at your personality and we talk about entrepreneur and entrepreneurship and how so often they say, it's just the way I'm wired. There's just something about me that entrepreneurialism works for me. What about the way you're wired works with Big Ass Fans and this opportunity that you have before you?
I think, as Kerry said, the most important part of this is curiosity, or a very valuable part that you don't immediately think that is important. But that's definitely the most important part for me. I think I just like to learn things, and so it's pretty fun. I mean, sometimes it's things that I didn't think I would be learning, but that doesn't mean that it's not interesting to learn them.
Sure.
And so every day it's a new and interesting thing to pick up on, and I don't know, sometimes every once in a while you even pull it out in conversation. Like, oh yeah, the Bataro Hospital in Rwanda.
Absolutely.
I worked with that too, or something along those lines. So that's definitely what was driving me, and what still drives me here is just passion for learning new things and making them useful to someone.
So you'll have the opportunity when you graduate from Stanford probably to go anywhere in the country and the world to get a job. Having this opportunity though back here in Lexington, do you think that will impact at all your decision when you start to look at where you want to locate and maybe start a family and either start your own business or help grow someone else's business? Do you think that this opportunity will have an impact on that?
Well, I definitely think it's changed my opinion of what manufacturing is and what business is in general. I think that I completely didn't know what business was before I came here, and now I have
Sure.
such a much better perspective on what that is. And I know growing up in Lexington, it's like you never like your house. Everybody else's house is always more cool. But then when you get to a certain point, you start to realize that, hey, your house isn't all that bad. And Lexington definitely is a place that I see as I can walk anywhere with my friends. I can be part of a community, and I feel safe all the time. And I feel like raising kids here or living a life here would be easily a happy experience.
So Dylan, one of the other questions I wanted to ask you was, what has your other summer job experiences been like?
I did 2 internships over one summer, and both of them were honestly what I expected an internship to be. I was doing pretty basic, repetitive work that someone asked me to do it, and I did it, and I knew someone else could just as easily do it, but I was doing it because no one else who worked there had time to do it. So,
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't insulted, because that's what I think that internships are, which is definitely why this internship surprised me so much, because immediately it was intimidating almost to be asked to contribute work that was valuable, and no one else was like spell checking me or reading through my work and saying, okay, well, all right, this is good, but this is how I would do it. Like, they would value what I did, and once I embraced that freedom and that responsibility, it was definitely fulfilling.
And that, again, is a part of the vision that you have for this that really attracted me, is that it's real world work, real world experience, where you're expecting someone to step in and fill the shoes of an employee and work alongside their coworkers and really contribute. And conversely, you're contributing by allowing them, like you said earlier, to get paid to learn. But then also, you're adding value to what the company already does. And so my challenge for other companies out there in Lexington and in Kentucky is to rethink the way you do internships and the way that you do scholarships, and look at what they're doing here at Big Ass Fans and the Big Ass Fans, or the Big Ass Scholars program, and emulate that, because you're getting some of the best. You're bringing them into an environment, you're expanding their knowledge and their ability to grow and think, but that's adding real value to your bottom line. And I think that's one of the things that's most appreciative about this program. So again, I thank you guys for coming and allowing me to be a part of this and learn more about what you're doing and then help get the word out. If you're out there and you're looking for an internship and possibly a scholarship, I encourage you to go to Big Ass Fans.
bigassfans.com, and you'll see it on the homepage. It'll direct you to the scholarship application. The other thing you can do, of course, is give us a call. The general number is 877-BIG-FANS, and you'll be directed. We'd love to have you. And I think the deadline is March the 10th, so let's get with it.
Well, again, I appreciate you inviting us out to talk about not only your operation, your success in Lexington, your impact on our economy here, but also what you're doing in the lives of young people and the vision that you have. And so thank you for viewing the Myers Report. We will continue these conversations in the future. Thank you for watching.